angels willing to hold us in their arms. When our words of stone are ashes and we both passed on, let forever mean forever and carry on.
Good afternoon. Another day of, pardon me, looking out over the headlines. Another shooting. Of course, I'm sure you've heard about it. Dad taught me a lot of really good lessons. One of those was choose your battles wisely. Not that I listened to that particular lesson for a long time, but eventually I did. Pardon me. And it's a good lesson to learn. And far too many times when there's an officer-involved shooting, certain individuals will run and jump full force behind that individual, even when they probably shouldn't. And that is what I believe is the case in this latest shooting. I don't know the details. I haven't really dug into it. But once I started seeing the headlines coming out about how there was either, video or pictures, one of the two, of the young man brandishing weapons, like literally right before the shooting, like as in moments before the shooting. What can I say to that? What can I say to that? Don't do stupid shit. Plain and simple, right? It's one thing if that's what you set out to do. If that's what you set out to do, say be a martyr, that's one thing. But you can't say, for instance, pull a gun on an officer and then claim victim. Okay? Unless that officer shouldn't have been doing whatever it is that they are doing and you were defending yourself. Well, we run into a lot of stuff, but I can pretty well assure you that's probably not the situation here. It's probably not the case here. So choose your battles wisely. Sometimes it's a good call. That's just the way it is. Everybody has a right to self-defense. Everybody. So, most certainly, law enforcement too has a right to self-defense. So, I can't fault them on that, and I won't. But anyway, so of course there's a lot of a lot of craziness going on over the latest shooting, and I don't see it getting any better. I don't. And when I speak like this, when I speak to you about this stuff, I'm not coming from a mindset that I'm worn down or I'm tired or I'm exhausted. I don't want you to think that. It's not. I'm not. At times I get a little worn down and tired, but that's not what this is. This is a clear recognition of the times that we are standing in. It's time. It's on. This is it. I don't know. Again, I'm astonished at how slow of a roll-up it's been to this point, and it has been. You can still get stuff. You can still get supplies, right? This has been one hell of a slow roll-up to SHTF if I've ever seen one, which is a good thing, because that gives us time. It gives us time. but it also gives me clarity. And yeah, we're in for it. We're in for it. So use this time wisely. Use this time wisely and try not to get involved in too many unnecessary battles, you know? Save your energy. Save your energy. You're going to need it. And like I say, and I'm looking across the entire landscape of news. And when I say this, it's not any one particular thing. It's all of it. It's all of it. It's not getting any better. I don't see that it's going to get any better. You got so many games being played, whether it be domestically, internationally, you name it. And the games are with absolutely everything there is, whether it be COVID-19, whether it be this Navalny character, however you say his name, that may or may not have been poisoned, all kinds of stuff. And there's nothing but games being played, largely from the United States. So, be ready. Be ready, and understand, too, that during times like this, our nation looks extremely weak to other nations. In that way, what I'm saying is it's more of a prime time if they want to step in than any other. I mean, look, we've been doing that in nations for decades. Destabilizing the nations, causing civil wars and stuff like that, and then going in and installing puppet governments and all. We've been doing that for decades. You don't think that the same entity that's behind doing that in the Middle East and everywhere else wouldn't do it here? No, it's just our turn. That's all it is. It's just our turn. So, but yeah, and the best thing that we can do is band together. Try to work together. Try to find our common ground instead of our differences. That's the best way to combat this. Because that's what they have on us. That's really the only thing they have on us. Is that we don't work together. We don't. How many individual men out there are fighting like a motherfucker in the family court system only to lose? How many billions of dollars a year are being spent for attorneys in family court per year? How many billions of dollars exchange hands in child support, court ordered, per year? I bet you it's the biggest industry there is. I will bet you it is the biggest industry there is. The family law industry. And you've got each and every one of those men out there fighting individually. And they can't get headway for nothing. For nothing. How many men do you suppose each of those courthouses process a week? How many fathers do you think? I mean, of course, it's going to depend on the population of that particular county and yada yada. I get it. But you get what I'm saying, right? How many men do they process through those family courts per county per month? I am willing to bet you that in most cases, it would only take 1 month worth of those men out of 12 months in a year. It would only take 1 month worth of those men to show up at that courthouse at one fucking time to say, guess what? You're closed. Dismissed. Because you're talking several thousand men. So if those several thousand men banded together instead of individually and showed up at that courthouse at the same day, at the same time, and said, motherfucker, you ain't not going in this fucking building and doing this again to more people. You are not. You are done here. You are done here. I guarantee you, you would get somebody's attention. Guarantee it. But we don't. We continue to fight this case by case, one by one, individually, letting a corrupt court system ran by a corrupt legislative office, ran by a corrupt presidential administration, all of them, I'm not pointing at Trump, all of them, all we have to do is say enough and find common ground with one another. How about, hey, I don't want to live in a banana republic shithole country anymore. Is that common ground enough? It is for me. We got to come together, folks, or we're going to lose it. We're going to lose it. Anyway, I actually didn't have nothing to talk about today, but I watch this stuff and it's like, man, I have watched them brainwashed the American public since roughly 2006 and just watched what they have done every step of the way. And anybody else out there that's pulled away from television, from programming, television programming, in that around that period of time, will be able to verify what I'm saying. I mean, it is clear as day. It is evident as it could be at how people were led. People were led. Like the Pied Piper bullshit. People were led by the television. By the television. And you wouldn't know it if you participated in it. Guaranteed. But if you run across somebody else that quit watching TV, say around, 2006 or so, ask them. They'll tell you. You know? Like you get a pet, right? You get a dog, a large breed dog. You get it as a puppy, right? You probably really don't notice how much that puppy grows, right? But somebody that may only see you once a week or somebody else that may only see you once a month, oh, that puppy's going to grow leaps and bounds. Right? But to you, because you see the puppy every day, doesn't seem like it ever really grows. Man, we have got some dark days ahead of us. That's a fact. And the only thing that can make those dark days any brighter, of course, other than our Father in heaven, are each other. We can make each other's day as bright or dark as we want. That's our choice. One of the things that I value the most out of our relationship, I'm speaking about me and Jen's relationship, is the fact that it's simple. That's all I want. Simple. I don't need 9 kinds of bullshit. I don't need all kinds of drama. I just want simple. And I appreciate that. You have no idea how much I appreciate how much of a simple life that she blesses me with. And it's how we should all be living. And that's, by the way, why I avoid society. Why? Because if I did not avoid society, I would not be able to have that simple life. I wouldn't. Because people would be trying to drag me into their shit left and right. So I just avoid people. So I'm not drug into their bullshit. So I can keep my life simple. Honest to God, biggest reason I'm a hermit. To keep my life simple. I don't need all the bullshit. I don't need to know what Solly and Tommy's doing. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Don't care. Not even on my radar. Like I said, I didn't really have a topic to talk about. I guess I'm a bit ranty or something. But it's truth, you know? Man, I'm concerned. You know, and part of this, I guess, is stemming from looking around what's going on in my own community with this coronavirus. And just shocked, really, at some of the behavior of some of the individuals. Just shocked, really. I probably shouldn't be, but, I mean, some of them are just being really disgusting. Really are. But, it is what it is. And I called it out from the very beginning. I've told people in the very beginning, you know, keep your eyes out, because you're going to see people that you probably never knew before that are going to shine so bright you wouldn't imagine. And at the same note, people that were always, you know, looked up to and respected and all that, you know, going to turn out to be some of the biggest pieces of shit the town has to offer. And that is, in effect, I think, what some people are finding out about some other people. So, but it is what it is. Don't really have anything in particular. Guess I could just go over stuff and read you the headlines. I'm going to try to start being better about putting out the monologues on a daily basis. I'm going to try. So, work with me and I'll work with you, and we'll try to get these out more on a daily basis. I need to be doing more with the news show. And I know it kind of sounds crazy considering, you know, I'm here 4 hours live a day. But I'm talking about, like, I need to do monologues, maybe a couple of reports here and there or something. And I really need to try to get this squared away on the weekends to get up in the flight simulator for a little while and go live while talking with you guys and flying and stuff like that. I need to try to get a schedule tightened down for that. So, but anyway, let me have a sip of coffee here, and we'll get started and rolling on stuff. Tell you what, we're out of French vanilla creamer, and when we ran out of creamer like the last time, the only creamer that they had was these big ass containers of like the cheap great value stuff, but regular creamer, and we normally do French vanilla. But so Jen had gotten 2 of those big ass things of regular creamer. Well, we had used up one, we had one more, and I was holding off on opening it because it's a big ass thing of creamer. That's great for SHTF, right? Anything big ass is great for SHTF. So, which, speaking of that, I do want you to pick up some more of those big ass things of creamer. So anyway, I went ahead and decided to open it anyway because I don't know when we're going to get there to do our shopping. So hell with it, I'll open it. So, but I'm actually, I don't know. I might actually, myself, I don't care what you do, but I might take a break from French vanilla for a little while and just stick with this regular stuff. I kind of like it. You like French vanilla better? Yeah, I am. Yeah, I mean, there's not much of it. Yeah, that's kind of why I like those. It's kind of just light. But anyway,
you made this beast.
Anyway, yeah, I enjoy my coffee. All right. So, Amazon affiliate, we're still showing you goose eggs, but there are 2 items ordered, so not actually goose eggs. So that will for sure be changing. So I want to thank those that participate in that. I think it was 34 or something is what it was last month is what it ended up. So I want to thank you for that. For those that don't know, we're an Amazon affiliate. We have a link in the description of the videos as well as at the watchmannews.com right there. That link, it just takes you to Amazon. When you click that link, that's all it does, takes you to Amazon. But it does so with our special code, and when you make purchases after using our link, those items won't cost you anything more, but it will throw a little bit our way for the sale, like a commission, and all those little bits add up at the end of the month. And so it helps out. And normally it goes for things other than mucus medication, but it usually goes towards something that I can review for the show, even though I'm way behind on that review kind of stuff, and or it goes towards something to help out on the show. In case of this time, mucus, because hey, I'm not coughing. But anyway, so it normally goes for something to review or something towards the show or whatever, and it's highly, highly appreciated. We also have a Teespring store. The best way to see the different items we have there is go to the watchmannews.com. Scroll down on the homepage. We got 4 different designs currently. If you see a design that you like, just click on the image. That'll take you to Teespring where all the other products are. There's coffee mugs, tote bags, tapestries, throw pillows, all kinds of stuff with those designs on it. So if you see something you like, go there, check it out. That's also another way to support the show. And lastly, we have a PayPal donate link. That's in the description of the videos as well as the Watchman News right there. It says donate. That just takes you to our PayPal donation page. You don't have to have a PayPal account. You can do so with a debit or a credit card as a guest. But I always let people know it does say Transforming Disabilities up top, but it also says Purpose the Watchman News donation. That way you know you're in the right place. Okay, now another sip, and we'll go over COVID numbers. Man, oh man. All right. Okay. Global. Total confirmed 26,074,609. That's up 239,308. Active cases, 7,873,082. Recovered cases, 17,337,374. That's up 215,182. Fatal cases, 864,153. That's up 5,492. Now, I'll wait until I do U.S. numbers and I'll discuss this. United States, total confirmed, 6,220,061. That's up 46,084. Active cases, 2,742,686. Recovered cases, 3,288,521. That's up 28,182. Fatal cases, 188,854. That's up 1,136. And the graph from yesterday is now showing yesterday's new cases at 37,630 and fatal cases at 1,016. Now, what I was going to tell you is there's another round of idiocy rearing its head when it comes to the COVID numbers, and it's that, oh, there was only so many percent and blah, 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 blah. And we've already covered, I know you understood what I said perfectly, right? And we've already been over this once before. That's why I did it that's why I said that, because it gets old. It gets old. Can we really stop with the idiocy, with the lack of any thought process? So some individuals are grabbing onto numbers and playing with numbers again and trying to say, oh, only a little portion of those that they say died from COVID actually died from COVID. No. First off, let me make something very clear. When they tell you that 95% of the people that died from COVID-19 had pre-existing conditions, that is not telling you anything. Because over 95% of the fucking population has pre-existing conditions. What's that telling you? Nothing. It's a way to try to convince you of bullshit. It's trickery. They are not telling you anything. Over 95% of the population has pre-existing conditions. So of course, over 95% of the people that die of COVID-19 are going to have pre-existing conditions. Duh. The way it works, George. Okay. Now, if I break my arm, right? Broken arm, no coffee, no sneezy, no sniffly, no fevery, broken arm, ow. And I go to the hospital, and they mend my arm. And while I'm in the hospital, I'm in the waiting room with somebody that's asymptomatic COVID-19, and I'm giving you a piss poor example, and I get sick with COVID-19 while I'm in the hospital getting my arm mended. Okay? And I die from COVID-19. Okay? I died from COVID-19. Just because I went into the hospital with a broken arm doesn't mean I did not die with COVID-19. That's what this is about. So these people are trying to say that somebody that died because they had, some type of a breathing issue or, a heart, whatever, some type of pre-existing condition, or let me rephrase it. Because somebody went into the hospital for something different. I'm sorry. Because somebody went into the hospital for something different and wound up being a victim of COVID-19. These idiots are now trying to tell you that you don't count that as a COVID-19 death. Even though they actually died from COVID-19, it's just their initial inquiry wasn't COVID-19. Okay? And How does that make any sense? It doesn't. It doesn't. But you have immature people that are holding on to anything they can to run with their agenda as hard and fast as they can. This is fake. It's a scamdemic. It's... Both sides are playing games. No, it's not the Black Plague. It's not. But it's something that we better take fucking serious so that we can protect our elderly, so that we can protect those that are at risk. Let's not just throw them to the wayside. Red team. So pro-life, but you want to throw your parents and grandparents into the fucking grave. It's unreal. It is unreal. You know, there is a reality in all of this. And if we stop letting these political idiots get us emotionally charged in one direction or another, we can see the light. We can see the truth. What's really sad is we have nowhere we can go to get good, honest data. I can't trust these numbers I give you every day. You know this. You know these numbers can't be trusted. I've shown you these numbers can't be trusted. And I guarantee you, no matter what website I go to, the numbers can't be trusted. And that's sad. That's the one thing I ask, is that the data that you provide me is accurate so that I can make a proper decision myself. But see, most people don't want to make that decision anymore. Most people want somebody to make their decisions for them, because it's more convenient. I don't ever want anybody making any decisions for me. Ever. Do what you need to do. And if that means protect yourself and your loved ones because you're at risk, do so. If you're not so much at risk and not around others that are at risk, then worry about it so much. For God's sake, we need to all stop telling everybody else how to live. All right. Illinois. Positive cases confirmed. 240,003 with 8,115 deaths, still at a 95% recovery rate, and our particular zip code is at 253. Pardon me. So that's showing only an increase of 2 in the last 24 hours. That is certainly an improvement. Let's hope it stays that way. You gotta understand, for those that don't know, we are in a small town, a small community, not a big bustling city. And by the way, those numbers are gonna rise exponentially here pretty quick, because if you've been playing around in the home game long enough, you know that we live across the street from a Catholic church. Well, there's also a Catholic school. Well, apparently that school, it was open, but apparently it's now closed because of COVID-19. So, yeah. I expect to see those numbers rise exponentially. All right, let's do some headlines. Starting with last night. Unacceptable. Interference. International Criminal Court objects to U.S. sanctions prompted by war crimes investigation. It was a setup. This is funny. Nancy Pelosi claims salon tricked her into flouting coronavirus restrictions to get her hair did. Demands an apology. Yeah, Nancy is demanding an apology for being set up. Hackers hijacked Twitter account of India Prime Minister Modi's website, ask for donations in COVID-19 Bitcoin scam. Wonder if they got away with a little mint there. Trump pushes to defund anarchist jurisdictions, including New York City, Portland, and Seattle. And it's right here. Is that a threat? Governor Cuomo says Trump better have an army to protect him if he comes to New York. Now, look, I know Trump's a jackass, and I get that, but there are things you don't do. Okay? And one of those things in the United States that you don't do is physically threaten a sitting president. I don't care how much you don't like him. You know, it's one thing to say that that president deserves to be hung, you know, by the gallows for treason, or that's one thing. Okay? That's one thing. And some people might say, oh, that's a threat. No. It's not. It's not. Because we're not talking going straight to the gallows. We're talking about, you know, due process, being tried and being hung for treason, right? Through the process. That's not the same thing. Not even close. You know, but saying that he better have an army to come to New York, that's a threat. Now that is a threat. And I don't get it, right? We couldn't even remotely say something like that without having to knock on our door, right? And nothing even happened to Cuomo. We've seen it too many times, politicians, entertainers, and it's ridiculous. Burn this motherfucker down. Oh, I was reading the headline, sorry. Protesters descend on D.C. police station after officers fatally shoot 18-year-old suspect. Sorry, I got carried away there for a second. Let's see. Democratic St. Louis mayor forced to move away from home over BLM protests happening on doorstep. So now what do we got? Where was that other one from? There was another one, a mayor that had to leave their resident, was it Portland? I guess Portland, the one that had to leave. And now the St. Louis mayor was forced to move away from her home. So, yeah, shit's getting real, yo. And what did I tell you? I've been saying this for years. Have I not? Been saying it for years. I've been saying that these protesters, their anger had been misdirected. Here they're burning down Little Caesars and you know, Target and all of this stuff, when, you know, the ones they're angry at should be the police stations, the courthouses, the, you know, politicians. And you have to admit, at least they're figuring it out a little bit. Saudi Arabia's oil exports to U.S. slump to lowest level in decades. Video surfaces of 18-year-old shot dead in D.C. brandishing handgun moments before his death. This is what I was talking about, you know. Folks, choose your battles wisely. If somebody's a thug and they get thugged doing thuggery, then you probably shouldn't support them. A Navalny case, a serious problem for Kremlin. International spotlight means Russia has to transparently investigate and find answers. And by the way, when I say this, I'm not just saying thug, 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 thug. I'm not. Okay? But this is clearly what this is. Right? What it is. I'll still stand behind George Floyd. Right? I'll still call that the claims of him dying of fentanyl overdose is bullshit. Right? But I will call plain out thuggery. Now, I'm not saying that George Floyd was an innocent angel or anything like that. Not saying that at all. What I'm saying is the man shouldn't have went out like that. Plain and simple. And I think anybody with any decency in themselves at all can understand that. And we were all pretty well, for the most part, all in agreement with that when that event happened. So, let's call things for what they are. This is bullshit here. But the media's they're gonna do what the media does. 60 arrested as Bulgaria's largest anti-government protest in 2 months descends into violence. 1 person killed as typhoon rips through South Korea, shattering windows and leaving homes without electricity. Only 1 in 10 medical treatments is backed by high-quality evidence, according to shocking report. Wonder what kind of airplane that is. Single engine, prop plane, but it'll cut into the air pretty quick. Couldn't see it though. Wasn't a turboprop or anything. Let's see. Pakistan's stock market has become one of the world's best performers. Aussie police satisfied with the arrest of the pregnant woman over anti-lockdown message. She described it as a scary kidnapping. Lukashenko claims Merkel's remarks on Navalny's poisoning were fabricated, cites Berlin-Warsaw phone call intercepted by Minsk. Full and transparent investigation. NATO and EU leaders demand Russia investigates attack on opposition figure Navalny. And I have a feeling that this is going to get, this is really going to get blown up, and it's going to get spun. Let's see. Extinction Rebellion activists glue themselves to the street outside UK Parliament as part of 10-day disruption. Beijing slams Washington's new restrictions on Chinese diplomats as delusional and promises legitimate response. Much ado about nothing. Political advertisements don't really persuade people at all, a Yale study finds. U.S. employers cut record 2 million jobs as coronavirus batters the economy. Second COVID-19 wave unlikely, but more testing needed over autumn, says UK Health Secretary. A gruesome discovery. German police find bodies of 5 children in an apartment. If Navalny was poisoned with Novichok, those around him must also be affected, a Siberian doctor says. Nancy Pelosi's hairstylist backs up her salon setup story, says owner was breaching COVID restrictions all along. Lebanese army discovers another stash of ammonium nitrate at Beirut port a month after deadly explosion. Facebook to ban new pre-election political ads and label early victory claims in order to limit potential for civil unrest. Extensive Russian research project suggests you cannot get COVID-19 twice unless you have a serious underlying medical condition. And I never know I know I do a lot of reporting on COVID and stuff. Folks, I'm just reading you the reports. All right? I'm not, when I read these reports, I'm not a virologist. I'm not putting myself behind this and saying, yeah, this is correct. I can't do that. I don't have the ability to do that. And I know I read headlines and they're constantly back and forth. I don't know what to say. I don't have the answers. I don't know. I don't know if anybody does. In all honesty, I don't know if anybody knows. I think it's a lot of guesswork at this point. Alleged poisoning of activist Navalny could be classed as a use of chemical weapons and violation of an international law, says the OPCW. No more red light district, ? Netherlands to consider banning prostitution as government party argues it's hypocritical. Athens and Ankara agree to talks, Stoltenberg says, amid maritime tensions between NATO allies. Spare the children, ? Police seek Colorado woman who pulled a U-turn and punched a 12-year-old boy on a bike for carrying a Trump sign. Really? Ukraine admits fears over Russian influence in Belarus as Minsk claims foreign powers trying to separate country from Moscow. U.S.-Russia relations can get even worse. American diplomat warns Kremlin against military interference in Belarus. Again, that is something to really keep a close eye on. D.C. 18-year-old who live-streamed with gun brandished his weapon while fleeing before being shot. Police body cam footage. Washington Post outlines bizarrely detailed post-election apocalypse unless Biden scores a landslide victory. I don't know, folks. Be ready. Just be ready. I can't urge you enough. Be ready. Not interested in bringing Alexa into your house? That's okay. Amazon's working with your landlord now. Oh my God. Now, our landlord probably wouldn't do a lot of this, but could you imagine like a lot of the management properties and, I mean, think about it. That's scary shit. That's scary shit. Man. All right, number 2 up there. Let's see. EU and France call on U.S. to reverse unacceptable sanctions against International Criminal Court's war crimes investigators. Yeah, I mean, and that's not good either. Not good either. But okay, there you go. That is the headlines for today. So let me close up the monologue and we'll go from there. For those here for the live show, stick around. Don't go anywhere. Don't do anything. We'll be live until 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. For those just here for the monologue, or if you're watching the recording later on, thank you very much. As always, God bless you. We love you, and be one with your spirit.